What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for Saturday, January 27th, 2024. That's right. I don't take days off. 7 days a week. You get your Daily Blitz. That's why it's called Daily, right? Heyo. Smart guy, huh? Bringing jokes. Yeah. Getting you warmed up. So, what's happening? Got NFL playoffs winding down. Those are all on Sunday, right? I couldn't tell you. Harbaugh is left a shit bag on Michigan's doorstep. He lit it on fire and rang the doorbell and ran to Los Angeles. I still call it San Diego because that was the last time I watched NFL football. They were still in San Diego, the Chargers. Anyways, so don't forget Sunday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern. Me, Jeff, and Sean going to be lively, I'm sure. Tell your Michigan friends to pop in there. I'm sure we'll be banging on them. I think they're totally screwed, and that's even before you get to the NCAA violations. I think they're in big freaking trouble, man. Harbaugh, yeah, Harbaugh left them with like no roster. I understand some guys decided to go to the NFL, but some could have come back. There was some talk that JJ might come back, but regardless, the defense has some guys coming back, yes, but we'll see what happens with the portal. They got a 30-day window open right now, and then you got the other portal window after spring ball. So it'll be interesting to see if anybody takes off and bolts. And maybe the Buckeyes could fleece them for one or two guys, like an O-lineman. That'd be nice. Anyways, today we're talking about the Buckeyes secondary. B.I.A. B.I.A. is B-A-C-K. B.I.A. is back. This Buckeye secondary going in 2024 has me all kinds of hyped up, man. This Buckeye secondary is the best secondary in America, and it just got better with the addition of Caleb Downs. We talked about that last week. But last year, in 2023, even without Caleb Downs, they led the nation in fewest yards passing per game at 146. Fewest yards per attempt, 5.0, and second in the nation in pass efficiency defense, 99.22, and third in completion percentage allowed, 52.7%. That's legit. All those numbers are truly legit. So with what the Buckeyes have returning, guys they got coming on board, the secondary has the potential to be one of the greatest in Ohio State's history. With the just defensive backs alone. In modern Ohio State football, if you go back to the 80s to now, there's just a couple teams that you could really say measured up to the B.I.A. standard. 1996 was one. You had All-American Sean Springs at one corner, Ty Howard at the other. The safeties were Damon Moore, Fostoria, Ohio's Damon Moore, 419. Played against him in high school, and Rob Kelly at the other safety. Then you had future first-round corner Antoine Winfield at the nickel. A secondary held quarterbacks to 45% completion percentage and just 145.6 yards per game passing. So you had three first-round corners in that field or in that team: Springs, Winfield, and backup Ahmed Plummer. Don't forget about him. Those different years, obviously, but in total, 7 players in that secondary were selected in the top 4 rounds of the NFL draft. That's crazy, man. Another banner year for the B.I.A. secondary, 2016. That was a legendary secondary. They held opponents to 48.9% completion percentage. They were third nationally in pass efficiency offense, 94.37. First in yards per attempt, 5.6. And were fourth with 21 interceptions. And of those 21, 18 came from the secondary. So in that 2016 team, the secondary, you had Garyon Conley, Marshawn Lattimore, and Denzel Ward. Those were your rotation. They had a rotation going back then with Kerry Combs. at the position coach. All three of those guys were eventually first-round draft picks. And then Damon Arnett, he was a redshirt freshman on that team. Safeties were Malik Hooker, Damon Webb, and freshman Jordan Fuller. That's crazy. He was in the 2D. Hooker went on to be a first-round draft pick after having a great season with in 2016. He had 74 tackles, 5.5 TFLs, 7 picks, and 3 pick sixes of those 7. Jesus. Hooker, man. Forget sometimes some of the numbers these guys put up. But anyways, there's going to be other years. You could say 1998. That was a great secondary. 2002, of course, with Doss leading the way, or 2019 with Okuda back there, and the rest of the guys. So you can see, there's a lot for this 2024 secondary to live up to. But with the return of Denzel Burke, Hancock at the nickel, and then senior safety Lathan Ransom, the Buckeyes will have 3 defensive backs who could have gone to the NFL. Those guys were definite draft picks, but they decided to come back. Burke was a first-team All-Big Ten, second-team All-American this past year, and it was in his 3rd year as a starter. Don't forget that. He started as a true freshman and was setting up to be one of the ultra-rare 4-year starters in Ohio State history. So you'll see his name on the preseason All-American lists this summer, and he'll be in all the mock drafts and as a first rounder over the next year, as those roll out. Ransom, honorable mention, All Big Ten last year, 20 career starts. He only had 4 in 2021 as a sophomore, 8 in 2022, and then 8 games this past year after he had to sit out the rest of the season with an injury. The Buckeye defense obviously missed him against the Cheaters, but Ransom brings experience, solid tackling and run support, and a clear understanding of what the Jim Knowles defense wants to accomplish. Hancock didn't really get any honorable mention or postseason awards. But he was one of the toughest and most important guys in the secondary last year. He was an outstanding nickel defender. So he went up against slot receivers, tight ends, helped out in the run game. And in OSU's base defense, he was huge after Lathan Ransom went out with the injury. In addition to those guys, you got corner Igbinosun, IGB. He's back for the Buckeyes. He was freshman All-American at Ole Miss in 2022. Honorable mention, All Big Ten last year. He's long, tall, physical, and you're going to see him in mock drafts over the next year because it'll be his 3rd year. He's eligible. So then you add the transfer portal edition of Caleb Downs, All-American. He brings 107 tackles in 2023 at Alabama, 40 more than any other Alabama player on that roster last year. So his 70 solo tackles led the SEC, and he was the first-team All-SEC player this past season, again, as a true freshman. So Downs should fit in seamlessly at the free safety, the deep safety, which was opened up by Josh Proctor. So with Downs in the fold, it also allows Sonny Styles to move down into that will linebacker role, which we talked about this week on the Daily Blitz. Hopefully you check that out. If you didn't, go back and check out CJ and Sonny together. And then a couple of days prior to that, Sonny moving to linebacker. So anyways, there's over 100 career starts combined in Ohio State's defensive backfield. You had 5 players with at least 12 starts, plus Hancock's 8. Jermaine Matthews and Malik Hartford each started as true freshmen last year, 1 game each. So this has a chance to be the most talented secondary, and the depth at corner and playmakers at safety. B.I.A. is definitely back in 2024, and I can't wait to see how they measure up to the other B.I.A.s in previous years. So I got for you today. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.